Hey everybody, welcome back to Reason for Truth. I'm your host, Stevie Garofalo, and today I want to talk to you just about one simple subject. It comes out of a very, very short, small book, the Book of Ruth, and that subject is fidelity. It's friendship. It's being loyalty. I'm thinking about Ruth. She comes in, right? You got Naomi. You got all this death, destruction. They leave Israel. They come back to their land, and God blesses Ruth with Boaz, and that's a beautiful thing. You know, I think we have to not overlook the point that Naomi just said, hey, listen, she reminds me of the old school, the generation I grew up with. The parents would say, listen, you go off, you take care of yourself. You're young. If I listen, I'll go and suffer the rest of my life. It reminds me of a story of I guess there's a number of stories floating around from the Titanic, where the older generation really said we're older, and they gave up their seats in the lifeboats for people younger than themselves. That is no longer a thing anymore. That's changed. But I want you to read the Book of Ruth. We're not going to go through the whole thing. It's just basically a very short book. You can read it for yourself. But I want you to focus on step by step how God provides, and how God provided all the way. You know, I mean, for Boaz to go ahead and to marry Ruth, he had to make sure that he was the next of kin. And so when he went to the next of kin, which he wasn't, he said, hey, the guy said, yeah, I'll go ahead and take Ruth. But then he said, okay, you got to take on all the responsibilities of marrying her. That means the cost. Not only do you get the land that she inherited, but you also get the responsibility of paying for her as a wife. And the guy said, no, that's going to be very expensive, and it's going to mess up my current income stream. So he didn't, and Boaz married her himself. Now, I just want to say this. I want to make a quick point. This is a short little episode. I want to just say this. When we do the right thing, when we're loyal to our friends, you know what we gain? We gain a friend that of depth, and we gain a friend for a lifetime. And when we selfishly compete or have selfish ambition with those we love or with friends, you know what we end up doing? Or we tend to use them, or, that's really not a friendship to begin with. But when that happens, it really destroys the trust. I have a handful of people that we've never competed with each other. I was just talking about the other day, just a handful, not many. And those guys, they're all men. They're all men who we all complement each other. We all lift one another up. We always help each other. My oldest friend, as I talk about on this show periodically, is Michael Keating. Our families met in 1966. It's a long time ago. Then Kenny Busick, my buddy from kindergarten. We don't talk as much. I was 5 years old. I still got my kindergarten picture, and we touch base on occasion. But, we just never had that competition thing, meanness thing, that I ever remember any of that stuff. I do remember a lot of other people I thought were friends that were not like that. They weren't loyal. So if you want, and that's painful, but that also is good, because bad news is good news. If someone's going to compete with you on the deepest level of friendship I'm talking about, there's a room for competition. Go play sports. Get into the business world fairly and truthfully, compete in business. Nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to your best of friends, there's no room for that. There's no room for that with your family, brothers and sisters, your mom and dad, certainly not your spouse or your children. No. And certainly not your closest of friends. Now, I've had a lot of friends that have stepped in it and that have not honored the friendship, and some of those have caused some pain over the years. But you know what? That's bad news is good news. At the end of the day, the friends that I have and the friends that you can have, and maybe perhaps you do have, are those who are just like Ruth and Naomi. It doesn't matter. I'm not going anywhere. I love you. I'm your friend, and I'm here forever. So God's blessings to you. Hope you'll take that to heart. Think about that next time you develop a friendship. And by the way, before we go, I want to tell you one last thing. Friendships take intentionality, and they take time. You don't make a great friend in just a year or 6 months. You are on your way to making a friend. It takes trust. It takes time. It takes trials, and it takes falling down. And sometimes maybe you make each other angry, but making each other angry does not mean you disrespect, or you go behind them and gossip, or you backbite. No. Those things end up just destroying the friendship. And usually in most cases, they can't be fixed. So let's do the right thing. Let's make sure we see God's ways. And if we do that, guess what? We're going to love God first, with all our heart, mind, soul, and strength, we do that, guess what we're going to do? We're automatically going to love others just like ourselves. You add that to the recipe of a friend that you really get along and you have great chemistry with, and man, you got something special. So let's make sure that we nurture that, really appreciate that, because we're only here for a short period of time and then we go on. God's blessings to you. Appreciate you tuning in. I'm your host, Stephen Garofalo, and you know what I say, this is your reason for truth for today.